So I want to talk about where you might be going wrong with your food, diet, eating habits, and how to fix it. Now, you are probably in one of three camps. Camp number one, you've got zero clue about nutrition, food, calories, macronutrients. Food is just food. And that's no bad thing. You're just eating what you always have, what you've always known. And that might mean that you're actually eating quite well, or it might mean that you're not, but you don't actually know any different. And especially if you're not really gaining any weight, but maybe you're not losing any weight, again, maybe you feel okay, nothing's triggering that anything you're eating or doing is particularly problematic. However, if you've not been making the best choices, when you hit your 30s and you slow down a little bit, even though life gets more hectic, you might start to notice some insidious weight gain. You might be drinking a bit more. There's all these things that can be adding to why you maybe don't feel comfortable in your body and are unsure whether what you're eating is the best thing for you. That's camp number one. Camp number two is you're a serial dieter. So if there's a diet on it, you've probably done it. You've cut out food groups, you've followed meal plans, you've been low carb, low fat, you might have been paleo, you might have been Atkins, you might have done everything and anything. And you have success when you follow the approach. But as soon as you stop and you go back to eating how you were, the weight creeps back on. And you don't know what you should be doing long term. So you find yourself in this perpetual cycle of dieting, trying different diets, and yo-yoing between weight gain and weight loss. Then there is camp number three. And this is where I used to sit. It's where you think you've got the knowledge because you've started to understand what a calorie deficit is. You might even understand what macronutrients are. But everything is focused on, will this help me in my calorie deficit? Am I eating enough protein? Eat all the protein, everything protein. Eat the low calorie snacks, filler foods, and the mindset that eating less is always better. And whilst a few of those things, there's nothing wrong with them, we should be eating plenty of protein. If the plenty of protein you're eating is coming from highly processed bars, shakes, mousses, or you're eating low calorie snacks that are just not filling you up, not satiating, and actually leave your gut feeling a little bit unhappy because of the amount that you're consuming. And irrespective of which camp you're in, the aim we want to get you to is where you have an understanding of what you should be eating for the most part, where you have some flexibility in your diet, where you can enjoy things without stress, without overanalyzing it, without overthinking. But you also just know how to eat well for the most part. And when I say eating well, I mean eating to fuel, function, perform well, and feel at your best. Losing fat is then just a welcome byproduct of taking that approach. And this approach is so much more simple than you can imagine, but it means forgetting all of the different food rules, forgetting all the diets, and it means going back to basics. So yes, we are focused on macronutrients, that is protein, carbohydrates, fat, but we're wanting to get it from whole foods, minimally processed foods, and I mean like ultra processed foods. And these are things that you know what they are: meat, fish, veg, loads of fruits and vegetables, starchy veg for your carbohydrates, fruit for your carbohydrates, and then additional carbohydrates from potatoes. Yes, I know they're still a vegetable. Rice, good quality bread, good quality dairy. That should form the bulk of what you eat. 3 meals a day. Make sure you've got some protein on your plate. Like, base your meal around your protein. This is what I always say to my clients. Stop trying to find random recipes, then having to buy all the ingredients for them. Think about the protein you enjoy eating and factor everything else around that. So if you've got a chicken breast, what do you want with that? Do you want some potatoes? Do you want some rice? Do you want some pasta? Do you want some butternut squash or sweet potato? What veg is going to go with that? Or salad? How do you make it then taste even better? What herbs, spices, flavourings can you put on there? Can you make a dressing out of olive oil and lemon juice, red wine vinegar, a little bit of salt and pepper on some green veg, drizzle it with olive oil or toss a little bit of butter through there? Like, that is how you make your food taste good, but also is going to satisfy your macronutrient needs. So we're hitting protein, we're hitting carbohydrates, and we're hitting some fat. But we're also thinking bigger picture about fibre as well. We're getting enough of that through fruit and vegetables. We're getting good quality fats, nuts, seeds, avocado, olive oil, oily fish. Having that in your diet is going to hit your fat requirements. A little bit of dark chocolate. And then we're getting the carbohydrates, like I say, the starchy veggies, the fruits, and then bulking that up as and when needed with things like rice or pasta or bread. And the key thing is just watching quantities, just not overfilling your plate unnecessarily. But if you eat 3 meals a day that's like that, and you keep crappy snacks to a minimum and focus on snacking on fruit and veg or extra protein, or then having a little bit of chocolate when you fancy it, or having the packet of crisps if that's what you enjoy, but you keep those extras to a minimum, you can have them every day, but keep them to a minimum. That is how you're going to fuel your body well, feel good, perform well, and you will also lose body fat eating in that way. Yes, you need to still be in a calorie deficit, but it's a lot easier to be in a calorie deficit when you're eating foods like that than when you're trying to constantly factor in all these recipes and all these fakeaways and trying to get like a pizza into your macros, that's all fine, and I've no problem with that as and when. But if your default is just to eat whatever to fit into the calories for the day without thinking about, am I getting enough protein? Am I getting enough fibre? Am I eating in a way that is going to keep me full and satisfied and not constantly thinking about food? That's how it needs to be done for optimal results. You're not going to overeat on food like that, but you're also not going to go hungry, and you're not going to be lacking in those essential things that your body needs. And if you eat like that the majority of the time, having the treats, having the glass of wine, having the chocolate, having the pizza on a Friday night isn't going to break the calorie bank in the same way. You're also going to have way more energy and focus day to day at work. Your training is going to be so much better. It is that simple to fix your eating habits. Simple doesn't mean easy. It's going to take a bit of work, but it's that simple of an approach. So forget the diets, forget the fads, forget the low calorie snacks, forget the umpteen recipes that are out and about, and go right back to basics. When you've got your basics, you can jazz it up a little bit if you want then, but simplify it as much as possible, make it easy, and free up some brain space so you're not overthinking, questioning, and second guessing every time you come to eat. Hope this helps. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.